In this video, I'm going to talk everything you must know about a Microsoft Azure certification, be it from a complete beginner, which is fundamental AZ900, DP900, AI900, to associate level certification, to as well as an expert level certification on Microsoft Azure Cloud. I'll also break it down based on the job role, whether you're working as an architect, administrator, AI, machine learning, data science, data engineer, or different job roles as well. So with that, let's look at what to expect in this particular entire video. And if stay till and I'm going to give you this entire PDF that will help you to understand and get um, a lot more related links, documentation, a lot more that you need to know. So make sure you watch till end and also pay special attention. I'm going to keep it high level for now, but at the same time, I'll give you enough content, enough material for you to go deeper into each of respective or respective blog that you want to go deeper as well. So we'll begin with, first of all, cover about why and what certification all about, the different levels of certification, including the core concepts, link related to Microsoft Azure website, which will help you to not only get clarity, but also the related documentation and step-by-step hands-on lab as well. So, and if you're coming here and watching this first time on the blog, my name is Atul. I've been in IT now more than 2.5 decades and more than 1.5 decade into cloud, multi-cloud. I've done this myself and also helped hundreds and thousands of individuals like you to not only get certified, but get a high paying job as well. Also, I've gone from earning less than $100 a month to earning more than £1,000 a day here now in the UK as well. So this is all coming with that experience. So with that, let's look at first of all why you should be doing Microsoft Azure certification. I'm going to keep it lean and short and crisp because you already are here. So I'm assuming you already know the importance of Microsoft Azure cloud, but keep it short. It's one of the fastest growing cloud after AWS, and especially since last 6, 7 years, Microsoft has taken a big leap on cloud part. Also, the AI with the invent of AI, it's one of the leading competitors as well, or competitors in both in terms of cloud as well as AI and machine learning part as well. Now, I'm going to break this down, this certification into two parts. First, I'm going to talk about from a high level, as I said, there is a certification, which are, if you look at from a high level uh, point of view, you have fundamental level certification, which is AZ900, which is mainly for Azure infrastructure, will give you full 30,000 foot view of Microsoft Azure cloud. Then you have a DP900, which is for data fundamental, data related. Then you have AI 900 for, as name suggests, AI artificial intelligence. These are fundamental level certifications. If you look at the associate level, what do you see on the left hand side? That's more from an infrastructure, playing different roles like administrator, developer, security, architect, DevOps engineer, and so on. The middle layer, you see data engineer, database administrator, or maybe data analyst as well. And then you have a data scientist, which is DP100. On the right hand side, extreme right, you have AI, which is AI 900, DP100, which is a machine learning engineer or data scientist, and AI 102, which is AI engineer as well. Also tell you these dotted line represents there's no prerequisite, which means you can directly go for AZ 104, 204, or these ones. Whereas the fully solid mandatory line that you see, that means for AZ 305, you should have AZ 104, which is a Azure administration certification. For AZ 400, which is a DevOps, you should have either AZ 104, which is Azure administrator, or you should have AZ 204, which is as your developer track. These are the on a high level certification you should have. Now, with that, let's look at, I'm going to go in a slightly different manner, which is I'm going to go as per the job role, and then you can switch, you can directly jump onto this job role. And I'll also give you about when you're doing that particular job role, what kind of any prerequisite, any goods or nice to have certification. We'll talk about that as well. So the first job role that you see is Azure administrator. In that, it's mainly for someone who is administering, who's doing day-to-day operations on Microsoft Azure cloud. That's what the role is, Azure administrator. And for that, you have AZ 104 at the time of recording this video. Now, if these certification change, I'll come and update on this blog that you see Azure Administration AZ104. But before we go for Azure Administration AZ104, I think it's nice to have or good to have Azure Fundamental, which is AZ900 that you see in the middle, or this certification that you see on here AZ900. So let's first look at AZ900 certification, what you should be doing. So if we scroll down on this blog, katanacademy.com/Azure11, this is where I'll upload this video and I'll put it all YouTube channel as well. I'm assuming this is where you're watching this as your that. Now, within that blog, there's already have created a in-depth AZ900 certification. And if you're preparing for AZ900 certification, worth clicking on this video here, or that should be on my YouTube channel somewhere that you'll be talking about. Now, for AZ900, there is three main or topics that you do or domain that we talk about, which is cloud concepts, 25 to 30%, Azure architecture and services, 35 to 40%, and then governance and management, 30 to 35%. Now, Microsoft, if you want to go on a corresponding documentation link, there's a study guide that is going to link below here, which is a certification exam guide. I think not here. I'll link this guide or maybe point you this, or maybe refer to this in this documentation link, or the PDF that I'll share with that. This is where the study guide, you can read more about these study guide, this point as well. Now here I have a step-by-step hands-on lab, which you can worth going and check it out, this step-by-step on this link on to say what all hands-on lab we recommend you to perform in order to get or understand the concepts and clear this certification AZ900. Also, if you want to read more about exam, it's given under the blog link on that you see here. Now, if I go and look at further read about or talk about what all things you should be doing for AZ900, let me go through. This is the topic I was talking about, AZ900 Azure Fundamental. So first, these are the three modules which I mentioned just now. And within that, if you look at from cloud computing point of view, the basic characteristics of cloud computing, shared responsibility model, cloud deployment model, which is public, private, hybrid cloud, CapEx versus OpEx models. Then you have benefits of cloud, and then cloud service model, which is IaaS, SaaS models. And also, then you have Azure architectural concept, which is region and availability zones or subscriptions resource group. And what I mean by is I'll share this link or this PDF with this below this video, so you can look and read about more about these regions, availability zone, which will represent high availability and disaster recovery deployment. Then if you go further on this further down, then you have compute and networking, and I'll go and deeper into compute and networking when we go for Azure administration part. I'll talk about compute and networking, but understand a very high level. There's a different type of virtual machines, containers, Kubernetes, and so on, and networking, virtual network. Then we have storage accounts, storage services, identity and security, and what are the corresponding labs. I'll drop this link so you can download this PDF and click on these links and refer to these links as well that you see. Now then you have management and governance, and in that management and governance you have a cost management, you have governance and compliance, which is there's something called Azure blueprints, and then uh, you also have a deployment tools like PowerShell, Cloud Shell, their Azure ARM templates. There are different ways to provision these services and manage these services in Microsoft Azure Cloud, understand them. And then you have a monitoring tool, Azure Advisor, Service Health, Azure Monitor, and go through the Azure portal and refer. I'll also share the link below in this video or below on the blog, which I mentioned, the link about how to create a free Azure trial account so you can practice these concepts that I was talking about. And I'll share these hands-on lab link as well. So worth looking at that. Now, with that, go and look at some of the sample exam questions that are available and test your knowledge about before you appear for the AZ900, so you can understand whether your knowledge about AZ900 is correct or not. And these some of the screenshots, or these some of the guys or success stories to inspire you, who are someone like you who have done these certifications. So that's about AZ900, which is the first certification which I was talking about, which is high level you should be doing. Now with that, let's look at the administration role I was talking about, AZ104, what you should be doing for AZ104. So for AZ104, if you come to this and click on this Azure under Associate, Azure AZ104, this is where you will see. And there is a more video which I'm going to point it here. You can watch and click on this link here. But this is mainly for Azure Administration AZ104. There are mainly 5 topics, which is Azure Identities. This is where users, groups, roles, policies, and so on, and governance of Azure. And then you have implement and manage storage, everything about storage administration. Then you have a as your compute resource. I'll explain you what this in this case section about what the compute means. And then virtual networking. This is in this Azure administration. There's no design work that will be coming in Azure solution architect AZ305, but Azure administration will have more about how do you configure and manage these components. And then finally, monitoring and backup related links. Now, if you want to go as such, there's no prerequisite for you can directly appear for AZ104, but it's good to have a nice to have Azure fundamental if you want AZ before AZ104, but you can directly go for as well. Now, to if you want to schedule an exam, you can click on this link that will point you to the Microsoft website, and you can schedule that link as well. Now, also we recommend some step-by-step hands-on lab, which will be available on our website to point you to Azure administration, the hands-on part as well. And if you want go more deeper into AZ104, you can click on this link, which is Azure Admin AZ104 11 part as well. Now, from if I look at pointing out here on AZ104, on this is an exam overview on topics that you talk about AZ104 here. Let me go and talk about Azure Administration. This is a topic that you see for AZ104. So 5 topics, and if you want step-by-step learning path, you begin with if you have not done AZ900, you're directly jumping onto this. Understand the basic cloud services, service model, all the basic cloud concept, and begin with Azure virtual machine, storage, networking, connectivity with networking, and then Azure Active Directory. And now earlier it used to be Azure Active Directory, but now Entra ID, data protection, governance, and so on. So, and then you prepare for some the exam questions, certification exam questions, and then just to inspire you, and then again, just to let you know, the guys who have completed certifications on AZ104, someone like you have done. Now, in terms of, let me go back and show to you the concepts which I was talking about for compute. So these are the different compute available on Microsoft Azure Cloud, which is a virtual machine. You have app services, which is a platform as a service implementation of uh, predefined underlying infrastructure that you get, and a platform that you get, which could be .NET based, Python based, Java, and so on. Then we have container and Kubernetes, which is Docker container Kubernetes and Azure virtual desktops. Similarly, you have networking. Um, oh, this is sorry, you have a storage, and you have a 4 main type of storage: blob, which is a object storage, which is unstructured data. You have a queue storage, you have a file storage, and you have a disk that you can attach. File is more about is shared file system. I'm not going to go it higher. Uh, I'm not going to go deeper into this. I'm going to keep it high level for now, so you can understand this. This is about the list of hands-on lab. You can click on here for getting certified in AZ104. We'll share all these links and this PDF that I mentioned. So that's about Microsoft Azure administration. Next part is Azure. If you look at this track, which I was talking about, so next part is about Azure administration. Second, sorry, the developer role. And developer is, as you probably know, someone who's developing the application. So you are whether it's a Java, .NET, Python, PHP, Ruby on roles, whatever you are, you'll be building, designing, building, and deploying Azure-based applications on Microsoft Azure Cloud. You'll be working on commonly services like Azure Functions, Logic Apps, integration services, and so on. And you'll be appearing for AZ204. You can directly go for Azure 204 certification as well. Now from here, if I go back, let me go back. I'm going to move between these 2 different links that you see so that you can understand and go deeper, and some hyperlinks as well as you see. So with that, AZ204, click on this, you come here, and this is where you'll be learning things like development, PowerShell, CLI, and I'll hyperlink all these things that you are doing. The certification exam name is AZ204, and these are the 5 main domain topics. Now you saw compute and administration, but this was more for implementation, sorry, Deployment of Azure compute services. Here, you're developing the compute services. Here, you're developing for Microsoft Azure storage. You're implementing the security from a developer point of view. You're monitoring, troubleshooting, and then connecting to the Azure compute services or connecting and consuming the Azure services with the third-party services integrations point of view as well. Now, for list of hands-on lab, again, click on this link. It'll help you to understand if you want to go on a developer track, or you can book your exam from this AZ204, which is Azure Admin Developer. Now, there is no prerequisite. You can directly go and appear for AZ204. This is the learning path I would suggest you. You develop Azure compute, storage, uh, monitoring, troubleshooting, security, and then connect and consume services with third party, and you appear for this one just certification part, and then practice, and you get again to inspire. You can get certified, like get inspiration from others, other guys who are similar to you who have done these certifications on AZ204. That's about Azure developer track. Now, after that, you can go for, or another one is Azure Solution Architect, which is hugely popular, AZ305. And let me take you on for AZ304, which is Azure Solution Architect here. So if you come again on for AZ305, it's basically for my expert level certification, AZ305. If you come here, this is mainly for someone who's designing and implementing. So if you're a solution architect, enterprise architect, or an architect, this is what you'll be doing. So so there are, I think, if you look at these, the four main domains that you do. This one of the prerequisite for AZ305 is you have to clear the AZ104 certification. So if you look in this diagram, AZ305 104 is prerequisite. You have to be Azure Administration certified in order to get AZ305. You can write exam directly, but in order to become a certified solution architect, you also have to clear AZ104. So from a topics point of view, there is a 25% on, these are all designing related. In administration, AZ104, we were implementing it. Development, we were actually developing it. In solution architect, you're designing these things. So it's all about design. For a list of hands-on lab, again, click on this link. About certification exams, you look at, or if you want to go deeper into AZ305, there's a link. So all those documents I'm talking about, there'll be a related documentation link that you probably I'll refer here. Also, if you want to if you want to schedule an exam, you can go and click and schedule some exam here. Now, if you go on to from a AZ 305, again, as I said, I'm going to share this PDF with you so you can work and you can understand and implement this on. So this was AZ104. This is a solution architect AZ305. From a design implementation point of view, you're going from from designing authentication and authentication authorization solutions on using Enter ID and a lot of other solutions that you do as well. You also have a governance solution, designing compute solution, non-relational and relational data services, data integration services, application architecture, designing highly available systems on both from a active, passive, security, pricing, uh, costing, all those from a highly available and so on. You also will be designing a network infrastructure solution as well as business continuity and migration for that. And once you have done that, I would highly recommend you to go through some of the sample exam questions so that you can understand the preparation part. So before you go and write into the exam, you probably have at least practiced on this. And this is just to inspire, as I said, and for others, for guys like Sridevi, Deepak, Arikin, a lot of guys who have cleared and done this certification in the past. Brian is there, Mohammed, Sridevi, I've already mentioned. So they've done these certifications AZ305, which is Azure Solution Architect. With that, let's look at the next certification that you probably might be, which is Azure. We are on this track, so let me cover this part, which is Azure DevOps, which is AZ400. This is also a uh, three-star certification, which is expert level. And for this, you have you can do either one of them, either Azure Administration, AZ104, or AZ204 if you're coming from a developer track. So depending on if you're a developer, more focused towards developer, you go for AZ204 and AZ400. If you're coming from an administration side, AZ104 and then AZ400. So with that, let's look at what you need to do for AZ400, which is Azure DevOps certification. So coming back to here on the same about AZ400, as I said, this is also expert level. If you click on go here, there are two prerequisite, sorry, not two, one of them, either of them, which is either 104 or 204. And these are the main topics that you do from a certification point of view. And if you want to schedule exam, again, click on this link, schedule exam, and then you click on configure. These are the 10 to 15% about processes and communications. And these are the topics that you see. I'm going to go on to the presentation and I'll give you a little bit more direction on here. For hands-on lab, again, this URL k2academy.com/az40005 that you see in the bottom left-hand side as well. Also, implement an instrumentation strategy on 10 to 15% and list of hands-on lab and project work. So let me go on to the presentation here about Azure DevOps. The main reason for a DevOps engineer is to implement CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery or deployment, managing the source control, monitoring, making sure that these automatically deployed using another portal called Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is a dev.azure.com, which is a DevOps portal. Through there, you go and integrate those things on your Azure related services, Azure infrastructure related services. So if you go further down on from Azure DevOps, let me show it to you to understand on these slides. As I said, I'll share these slides that you see, which is Azure DevOps. This is a whole DevOps lifecycle that I'm not going to cover here. I'll create a separate video about Azure DevOps and publish here. But some of the services that you should be knowing from an Azure DevOps point of view, Azure Repos, one of the tool services, Azure Test Plans, Azure Pipelines, and then monitoring management, Azure Boards. These are tools that you should be doing and understanding these Azure DevOps tools. This is an example of a Azure CI/CD pipeline. You can automate this using Azure DevOps, right from CI, which is a integration pipeline, and you have a CD, which is a release or deployment or delivery pipeline or different environments that you do. Now, these are some extensive hands-on lab we recommend about for AZ 400, or if you want to go and prepare for the job. But this is the topic which I mentioned earlier for AZ 400. These are the 5 topics or 6 topics. And for learning path, this is the learning path that you have for Azure DevOps, right from what is the whole DevOps journey look like? How do the development for enterprise related DevOps strategy, also CI/CD, design, release, and then also infrastructure as a code. So you have in Azure, you have Azure Resource Manager, ARM, and you have Azure Biceps. These are the 2 tools you have in Azure. Now, if you really want to go uh, a next level, which is not related to the certification, but you can do Terraform for infrastructure automation. Also, how do you implement security and validate code base as well as compliance? And then you're designing the dependency and management strategy, as well as continuous fallback, deployment strategy, and a lot of other things that you probably might do. So again, these are some of the guys who have done certifications like AZ400. So everything that I'm going to mention here is tried and tested, and on the respective blog, which I'm going to which are given on the blog, which is mentioned earlier, you can go and read further, more in-depth uh, levels if you want to go on that particular certification topic. So that's AZ400. With that, let's look at what is the next topic which I'm going to cover from a certification point of view, which is about Azure Data Engineer. This is where if you're going for a data engineer track, which is hugely popular on, and the most, in my view, I started my career as a database administrator. So that is where you will be having DP 203, which is a data engineer certification. And then for data engineer, you'll be working on designing and implementing data solutions, including ETL, extract, transform, and load pipelines, data warehouse, and then you'll be working on tools like Azure Data Factory, which is the ETL tool, Synapse, Databricks, SQL, Python, and then you'll be preparing for DP203. So this is the track which I'm talking about now here, which is you're going from DP900 and DP203. So with that, I'm going to first talk about DP900 and then go with DP203. You can directly go on DP203, which is data engineer, but you can go for you can begin with DP900 or you can directly go for DP203 associate level certification. So that with that, let's look at these two, DP900 and DP203. So coming back to the same blog that is that you see AZ Azure 11, you go and click on this AZ. First of all, I'm going to go on DP900, which is a fundamental, and then we'll go for DP203. So let's go on to DP900, and this is where you'll be looking at mainly about 4 topics, which is a core data concept that you'll be learning. Then you're looking at identity condition for relational data on Microsoft Azure cloud, which is your Azure SQL databases or databases on VM and so on. what are the considerations for deploying that. Then also then there's a non-relational databases, Cosmos and DB, other things that I'm going to show to you here soon. And also the analytics workload, which is data analytics related. Now for DP900, there's a separate blog which will be going and deeper into, and we'll be creating a video. This video you can refer there. Or if you want to schedule an exam, you can go to the Microsoft website and schedule this exam. There'll be also some supporting document when you go and click. So let me show it to you actually from a data point of view. If you click on this, there'll be more in-depth training that you will see on each of these, all the links as well. So it's worth going on those links. Also, there is a step-by-step activity guide or hands-on lab related to data fundamentals, and as well as more about this DP900 certification. Same thing if you go for DP203, and I'll go and combine and show it to you all of those into for DP203, which is Microsoft Azure Data Engineering Certification DP203. Now, prior to this DP203, earlier there used to be two exams, DP200 and 201, and later I think a couple of years back, Microsoft combined these two into one single, which is DP203. That's what you see combined together. Now one single exam, DP203. Earlier used to be designed separately and implementation separately. Now they both merge into one single certification, DP203. So these are the main three domains, which is design, implement data storage, developing the data processing. This is where ETL, data factory, and so on, and then secure, monitor, and optimize. This sounds simple, but it's a little bit more complex, but it's totally worth this. How to go for more data engineering certification DP203, including the how do you book the exam, and then step-by-step hands-on lab and the certification exam. Go deeper into DP203. We'll talk about that. You can click on these links and you can refer here. Now, if I go on to this is a data engineering services. This is whole data engineering pipeline that you do right from collecting and ingesting the data to the data lake to enriching and doing ETL, enriching and transforming the data, putting into data warehouse or different type of storage, and then consuming the data through Power BI, data analytics, Tableau, and so on. And these are the bottom, you have underlying infrastructure services that we saw earlier in AZ 104, AZ 305 solution, the basic core infrastructure as well. And these are some of the services from a data related services, right from a storage account to Azure Data Lake, to Databricks, to Cosmos DB, to Azure SQL Database, Synapse, and Stream Analytics, Data Factory. These are the main things that you should be doing. Now, from a data point of view, there's a SQL database, which is a relational database. There is a, as I said earlier, on AZ900 we saw, there's an infrastructure service, which is your SQL server on a virtual machine. And you have a platform as a service, which is Azure SQL managed instances, as well as Azure SQL databases. These are platform as a service SQL databases. There's Azure Data Factory for DP203. You should be knowing and making sure you're comfortable with. Also, end-to-end ETL analytics with Azure Synapse databases. Also the Power BI. There will be some part of Power BI which is there's a separate certification called PL300, which is data analytics. You should might be knowing about that. And so this is a certification track I was talking about from a data engineering point of view, DP900. From there you go for DP203, which is data engineer certification. These are the main four topics they talk about is core for DP900 fundamentals, and this is for DP203, which is a little bit more advanced, in-depth 12-week program we such recommend, because that's where you will be learning a lot more certification point of view, right from exploring compute and storage options for data engineering workload. So when you're creating a data engineering workload, you need both databases, storage options, as well as compute, data engineering considerations, and this whole path. Pause this recording, watch this, download this PDF if you want to go deeper into DP203, or if you're a data engineers, you share it with the friends and colleagues, and of course, and then of course, go and look at what these guys have done. I'll probably might be sharing some links about a free community where you have a lot of individuals like guys like you who were earlier or who wanted to get certified that got certified in that community. I'll invite on those communities. So there is a Jivant, there is a S, there is a Ajay, there is a Sagar, Srinivas, tons and tons of guys who have got cleared the certification, but not just certification, but got a job in high paying job as a data engineer, data architect, and so on. So that's which is about data engineering with DP203. With that, I think the next one we'll looking at is data analytics, data scientist, which is there's another one which is data analyst, Power BI. Let me cover that if I've not covered that separately. I think I've not covered. Let me cover that PL300 as well, which is data analytics, that certification, which is PL 300 data analyst or yeah. So just below that DP203, you have PL 300, which is a BI data analyst. And this is where if you're working on Power BI or data analyst data visualization reporting, then you'll be going for PL 300 certification. And these are the four main topics that you'll be doing. Now, all these hyperlinks worth going through. You can learn and understand more of these. And do let me know what exactly, which one you are interested in so we can go deeper and create more videos related to that. That's DP203. Now, there's another one which is for if you're coming from a database administration point of view. I don't see there's a lot of intake, a lot of interest in that because a lot of guys either go for data engineer or data analyst or both of them. But there's another one which is DP300, which is data analyst certification that you or database administration. So that's related to DP PL300 and DP203 as well. Now, with that, I'm going to look at the next track is about AI, machine learning, and data science. So you have data science, and then you have AI and machine learning, AI 900, and those related to those topics as well. So AI, machine learning, and data science. So let's look at that particular part. First, I'm going to give you this is hot and in demand. So I'm going to look at the first. I'm going to talk about what is AI, machine learning, and services, and then we'll go and talk about these certifications, which is AI 900 um, and then AI 102 and DP 100, which is data scientist. These are the three certifications which I'll talk about next here. So the final part, as I said, AI 900, which is this AI machine learning, which is DP 100 data scientist and AI 102. And if you look at from this track, which is about AI 900, which is fundamental, and then this is here you have AI 102, which is Microsoft certified AI engineer, and then DP 100, which is Microsoft certified Azure data scientist, DP 100. That reminds me, I forgot AZ 500, which I'm going to cover that towards end, which is Azure certification. So let's go and look at from here, and then I'll go on actually going and talking about AI machine. Well, let me first go and show to you what is AI machine learning looks like. AI machine learning, which is the last and final bit of AI machine learning, which is very, very important, hot, and hugely, hugely popular in the market right now. So in a nutshell, top level top layer is AI, which is artificial intelligence. Below that you have a machine learning. Below that you have a deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning. And then within deep learning, you have a component called generative AI, which is these days ChatGPT made it popular. You have generative AI where you're generating or developing some applications. This is an example of generative AI. These are your unlabeled data, pre-trained machine learning model, which is already pre-trained on uh, internet scale, huge amount of data, and that basically made a basis of foundation model. Through that model, you generate something either content or code or question answers. Like the GP, like you say, chatbot, and conversational AI and so on. And these are some concepts that you should be learning. From a Microsoft point of view, from an AI point of view, these are Microsoft AI portfolio from Azure AI portfolio, right from machine learning to computer vision to NLP to conversational AI to anomaly detection. And if you look at from a AI, this is a background from a Microsoft. They have a machine learning platform which is called as Azure ML Studio. On top of that, you also have Azure OpenAI service, which is for generative AI, or if you're working on generative AI, Azure OpenAI services. And then you have a predefined scenario-based services on AI. Now they have, first of all, a generative AI related. There's no as such certification called AI 50, but if you want to learn how to develop generative AI or Gen AI services on Microsoft Azure Cloud OpenAI, these are the things that you probably should be learning. Again, I'm going to pause this. I would suggest you pause this and read if you want to go more on these concepts about AI 50 on this, or better would be download the guide, and in that guide, you can pick it that particular point. Now, as I said, first is AI 900, where you go and look at these five topics that you do from a certification point of view. First is about AI fundamental, the basics of AI, and then you have a computer vision, which is a second module about. Then you have a NLP, natural language processing for AI fundamental. Then you also have a document intelligence and knowledge mining within those documentation. And then fifth and final module is about generative AI 900. Now you prepare for these certification. AI 900 hugely popular these days, especially with generative AI and machine learning. And then of course there are tons of guys who have cleared this certification AI 900 like Javed or we have Neil from both from US, you have Krishna from India, Shailendra, and tons of guys who have done this AI 900. With that, next part is about AI 102, which is AI uh, engineer, and there'll be this is where you have all the topics. These are the six topics: uh, planning and managing AI solution, content moderation solution, computer vision. So whatever you've done on AI 900, this is actual more in depth about those implementations that you do on AI 102. And these are some of the certification or topics, including the hands-on lab you should be preparing for this AI 102 learning path. And of course, in that is about AI 102. Let me show it to you, and then I'll come back to the final part of certification, which is DP 100, which is a data science, Microsoft Certified Data Science. So if you go back on AI, I'm going to go directly onto AI 102 here. So this is AI 102, which is a artificial intelligence. There is another video. If you click on this, there'll be a YouTube video somewhere on this. We're watching that, or you come back to this page, which is this page is about actually Azure 11, ketonacademy.com/Azure, step-by-step roadmap path, which probably redirected to the same page here. So you go and these are the main topics that you see. And if you look at more about exam, about AI 102, this is the link on bottom left that you see for reading. And this is where you go and schedule the exam. And when you go on to the scheduling exam link, this is where you will see more content related to AI 102 from Microsoft itself as well. There's a lot of preparation material you can learn from here. There'll be practice test papers. You can pick it from here as well. If you're part of our program, we give you all these in-depth, including step-by-step hands-on labs, as well as the project work. For hands-on lab, this is where you click on this link for hands-on lab that you should be doing. And for a detailed blog about certification, you can click on this here, which is AI 102. With that, the second for last about topic is about DP 100, which is Microsoft Certified Data Scientist, which is um, DP 100 Microsoft Certified Azure Data Scientist. Now, we've done another video on this in the past for data scientists, but this is where you'll be learning more about machine learning, studio or machine learning, and there'll be some part of data, little bit of overlap with a little bit of data part as well. So which is where you are designing and preparing the machine learning solution. This is where you're exploring the data because entire machine learning is built on top of data and data engineering. So you bring the data, so you do data analysis, cleaning up the data, improving the data, and then training and developing the model and training the model for that. And then you prepare for the deployment and then deploy and retrain the model and use it in your applications. For again, list of hands-on lab, click on this link, which is dp10005, ketonacademy.com/dp10005. For also certification exam topics, you can go and click on this link as well. If I go and look at the from a documentation point of view, this is the whole cycle about machine learning life cycle, which a data scientist will be doing, which is about right from machine learning problem framing the problem. You have a business goal that you want to solve through machine learning pipeline. You have a machine learning problem framing, do the data processing, deployment model, developing the model, and then deploying that model on an environment which could be a machine learning studio, for example, as I said, containers, Kubernetes, or a normal VM, and then training and testing it, and then monitoring that machine learning model. This is the whole end-to-end pipeline. Again, I'll have separate videos which I'll be referring to on AI machine learning as well. So this is a machine learning pipeline for Microsoft Azure Cloud. And then you go for one exam, which is DP 100. This is the exam I was talking about, DP 100. These are the four main topics that you cover on DP 100. This is the learning path that you see about these topics on 6 modules. And of course, as I said, we'll give you entire hands-on lab and the project work and the guides and the certification exam questions as well. With that, the last and final certification is about AZ 500. Let me go back, which is Azure Security AZ 500, and then I'll tell you the free community where you can post questions. I'll be sharing more things on that topic and any other thing, and we'll also link to download this guide PDF you can download below this video. I'll share some links on that. So with that, let's go and final part, which is Azure Security AZ 500, which is Microsoft Azure Security Engineer. So this is mainly for if you're working on a security part, if you're doing on a cyber security, cloud security, Azure Entra ID, which is an Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, uh, security at data at rest, uh, data secure for data in transit, and the entire end-to-end security that you want to do. There's exam code AZ500. You can read more on this link. Also, there's no prerequisite. You can directly go for AZ500, but we recommend if you have done AZ900. Also doing AZ104, which is the administration, will be helpful if you can do that. If not, you can directly go for AZ500. And to schedule exam, you click on this link, which I'll be pointing out. These are the main topics that you from security. We have step-by-step hands-on lab we recommend you to do, and the certification exam topics that you do for certification. So that's pretty much about this certification, about the whole roadmap about this Microsoft Azure certification track. Now, I'll tell you before I go one more thing which I forgot. If you go to this community that we have, k1academy.com/free community, this is the absolute free community. This is where I talk a lot about. You can meet others, connect with the team members. It's absolutely free. Other colleagues who are doing and learning this, and that is where I'm producing lots and lots of content. So this is where there you have a classroom, and on that classroom I have something more supporting, which is under this 4 days boot camp that I had. In that I did a day two, which is about all about Microsoft Azure Cloud. That will help you to understand more about in this classroom. Also, if you go further down, there'll be certifications. This is where I'll be recording these certifications. This is more about in Microsoft Azure Cloud. This is where I'll upload this. On this, also there'll be AI 900, AI 102, DP 100, and I'll go to go more in depth. We'll add some more certifications within this classroom here. Also, if you don't have a free account on Microsoft Azure Cloud, you can go and create some free account on Microsoft Azure Cloud. Step-by-step guide and video you can refer from here. So there'll be useful content, a lot of useful, interesting things, and you'll meet other members as well. So that's pretty much from me on this blog. It's a lengthy blog and gone longer than I initially anticipated, planned for that, but I wanted to give as much information as I could on this one single blog. Later, I'm going to go on individually certifications, each of these certifications. So do let me know which certification you're interested in, and I might have some bonus classes, some free classes, some more content. I think there's also on this point, wherever either this side or that side, wherever you see, there'll be links about a complete Azure for beginners program. And if you need anything else, I have tons and tons of material on the YouTube channel all about Microsoft Azure Cloud. So if you have any specific comment, leave them under comment section. I'll point you to that. With that, this is Atul from Team K2 Academy. Thanks for watching. If you've come so far, download this PDF, which I've referred, the PPT presentation I was referring, so you can get hold of that. You might have to enter your name, email address, so they can email you that particular guide. With that, Atul from Team K2 Academy. Thanks for watching this. I look forward to see you in another video. Till that, take care and bye.